Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of Legend of Zelda Oracle of Seasons. Data, despite being a rat, and rats being very good swimmers, Data didn't learn how to swim until last episode when he got Zoro's flippers. Before that, he had to rely on his new friend Dimitri to swim around Sunken City. But now that he can swim on his own, well, Dimitri has gone off to do whatever the Dongos do. Here's the Great Moblin. Remember we destroyed his lair in the last episode? And he moved over to Sunken City here, and he's trying to rebuild his empire. We can throw an Ember Seed or a bomb on his stack of bombs though, and it blows up his house. But we can only do it twice. Third time he'll catch us, and it'll basically lead to a game over. If you don't leave the house before the bombs explode, then you'll also get a game over. So we don't want that to happen, but I didn't want to show that off. Now it's time for us to go to Mount Kuko, and Kuko, but via that passageway that the Master Diver told us about. Head up here. We'll try to defeat as many enemies as we can, because we're gonna end on Mount Goron again. There's a weather stump. I'm going to change it to winter. We don't really have to, but there's a cave above us that you can only reach if it's winter. The cave on the left there where all the snow is. And that snow isn't there in any other season, and so we can't reach that cave. I think we'll see that in a little bit. No real reason to go to this cave. There's nothing in it except for a fairy. We refill our hearts, but we already have full hearts. Just wanted to show it off in case you needed to fill up your hearts. So there we go. Now we can hop back down. And we head over. We also saw an entrance to Subrosia there. And now we got Moosh. There's a spring banana tree up there, but until the rock flowers bloom in spring, I can't climb up to it. Can nothing be done? So yeah, those little rock pedestals there, they're actually flowers that will bloom in spring. We don't have the power of spring, but hey, there's an entrance to Subrosia there. Maybe we can go to Subrosia and get the power of spring, a rod of seasons. But before we do that, well, we got another little mini game coming up. So we got this red and blue guy here, and they bump into us and they steal a Rock's Feather, and they give us this Fool's Ore in exchange that we really can't do anything with. You could swing it like a sword, but it doesn't do anything. It doesn't hurt enemies, it doesn't cut grass. That hole goes to the temple. But we can't jump. They took your precious item? They're always up to no good. Those foolish pack rats are famous around here. I just saw them with a dirty feather. Who would want that? We want it, because it allows us to jump. Quite a bit of exploring in Subrosia, even though this area is kind of small. 2 Subrosians? You mean those 2 weirdos who collect rupees and other trash? They live in the weird house to the west. This guy's gonna tell us these. There's ore chunks nearby. There's actually a 50 ore chunk on that 3 tile to the north of the volcano. Can't go up there without our feather. Even if we have our feather, there's not much to do over there. Yep. Those 2 are hurrying home. I wonder if they found some other weird thing. Likewise, we need our feather to head down here, but there's not much we can do down there either. But I'll still show off what happens down there. Let's go bury some treasure. Make sure no one sees us. If anyone does, run. So this is going to be another one of those mini-games, sort of like how we had with Rosa. When we first ran into her, we found the first entrance to Subrosia, where she's basically going to be running around. Well, she basically ran around and we had to avoid being caught by her. Well, now we have to do it again. Another little hide and seek minigame, but now we have 2 Subrosians that we gotta hide from. Just wander around, stay close to this tree. And it's a good thing, like I said, they have very bad peripheral vision. And they can't see over things. So yeah, we can hide behind these rocks. They won't be able to see over us. over the rocks, I mean, see us? And we just follow around. Now I have the pegs to seeds. You don't need them, but the last one can be a little bit tricky. You have quite a few things to go. So that's nice. The blue one ran away real quick. And we just have to worry about the red one. Just stay away from him. And there's no tricky ones like how with Rosa, where she, on the last screen, she turned around and came back. These guys are a little easier, I guess. It's more complex because there's two of them, but they don't pull any of those tricks. This is the trickiest one. They come down, and this is where you might want to use the Pegasus to get behind this tree. And once you're behind the tree, you're safe. And now we can dig up our box feather. Now, so let's go find more treasure. We can come back here again later on. And you can play the hide and seek game again. They're going to find a Gasha seed. So you can get another Gasha seed from them. But we'll be back at this area later in the game. But we're going to head to the south. And we're going to see these pirates there. And there'll be someone we'll have to visit later on. We won't be able to help them right now. Because the pirate captain will find out. Doesn't think that we're good enough adventurers. See, all these little holes that we could have jumped over, they're pretty much dead ends. Some weird guys called Piratians are south to south. Well, let's check it out. Hey, another entrance to Subrosia. Captain got a special someone he can't forget. What's more, she's said to be the queen of some great land. So stormy, this captain lost the bell he got from a special someone. That's a bit of trouble. Our ship got caught in a storm and sank. When we woke, here we were. Where are we? It all looks so weird. With the captain in such a state, we'll never get the ship out. That bloke we sent looking for the bell hasn't come back yet. I told him he ought to search the ship. Useless fools, can't someone find me bell? Ah, you? Oh, ha ha, don't be silly. You ain't an experienced adventurer yet. If you haven't even at least proven your adventuring skills by seeing the inside of some rooms, I've no use for you. So a future dungeon is going to be a room dungeon. And basically we need to get the item out of there to be able to basically help the captain in his quest. Is he alright? That bloke's so forgetful. Now, how'd that go? Now, remember when, at the beginning, it might have been episode 3, when we first, after we defeated the first dungeon, and we headed to the east of the Mako tree, there was that one pirate at the beach, and he was in front of a gate that had 4 little buttons on it. Well, the combination to open that gate, that pirate just showed off in, by pressing the drawers there. And here we have a little shortcut. I'll show you where that, kind of where that pirate is, a little bit. Now I'm just gonna leave here. Once again, this is in, takes us to Huan Village. I'm just going to leave here real quick to fight some enemies over to the east, because I'm going to end up the episode on Goan Mountain. After this, we're gonna get all our stuff done here on Kuko Mountain. We're gonna head to Goan Mountain to the west. And remember, there was those 2 Gasha seeds that we planted. Well, there's not a lot of enemies on Mount Kuko, so if we just go here, just defeat some enemies, we'll make sure those seeds mature. Now to the south there, that's where that pirate was. But yeah, there's a lot of enemies on these screens here. So I just want to come by, just get out of my way, defeat them. And then I'll keep me from having to backtrack later on to get those Gasha trees. Remember, after about 30 enemies, the tree will mature. Let's just come down here and Probably get about a third of the enemies we need. There's a nice screen with 4 enemies. And thanks to those Gale Seeds, we can just warp back to the Ember Tree in Horn Village, which is right near that new entrance that we found, and head back to Subrosia. So it was just convenient right there to do that and defeat those enemies. Well, let's head back to Subrosia. So yeah, now that we put that switch, it's always going to stay like that. So nice little shortcut. And over here to the east is the graveyard. And they said that the ship is by the graveyard. So part of the ship is in the graveyard. The other half is basically in the real world or the overworld. Oh, the ship's bow is in the desert. That means, and unfortunately, we can't push those blocks. So, like I said, we're gonna have to eventually get to the desert, but we're gonna have to become a more seasoned adventurer first. Also going to basically need some items to do some stuff to the north here. I'm just gonna show off what's up this way, past this one hole that we saw. So there's a treasure over there, but we can't reach that treasure, even though we can jump over this little hole here, because there's this more of those little blocks with the S on them. We'll eventually find an item that can interact with them, and when we do, then we know to come back here. Speaking of going back to places, now that we have our feather, we can go back to this smith here, and we can jump the little hole there, the lava, and get a Gasha seed. There we go. And speaking of jumping little holes, to the south of here, there's another hole that leads to the temple. So let's go into that hole, but first we can clear out these holes here. So now these rocks will stay removed. So yeah, it's a nice little shortcut we just made there. And this is going to take us to the temple. Specifically, it's going to take us to the southwest corner. In the southwest corner, that is the Spirit of Spring. We had Moosh the bear tell us that, hey, he wants that spring banana, but he can't get it because it's not spring. Well, luckily we are right where we need to be to get the power of spring, you know, our rod of seasons. So now, basically all you have to do then is get the Spirit of Autumn. You can actually get the Spirit of Autumn before you get the Spirit of Spring. Once you can swim, you can get the Spirit of Autumn. The game really doesn't direct you there yet, but just kind of going in order. But it is, like I said, you are able to access the power of Autumn once you can swim. Alright, we got the power of spring. Let's use that power of spring to have those plants, those rock plants grow, and then we can cut them down and get that spring banana for our friend Moosh. See, now the snow wasn't there, so you couldn't reach that. So let's grab our... let's take out this Tic-Tac real quick here. Oh, keep in mind that heart piece we're going to get a little bit later. Winter and spring. So you got this crow just to, like I said, get more enemies to make sure that when we finally get over to go on mountain, those Gasha plants grow. So now you see those columns, they just became flowers. There's a flying cuckoo. And basically we have to grab it, you have to, it's like a little mini game here, you have to hit the A button really, really fast, or whatever button you have the power bracelet attached to. And you have to hit it enough times, it's timed, but you gotta get high enough to drop off on this ledge. If you don't get high enough, then the thing is just going to drop you, and you have to restart it again. But there's no real penalty for failure other than, you know, having to retry it. Well, I got rid of all the bats, so that's 4 more enemies that we can count toward our maturing gacha trees. There's me another cave with a few bats. That's going to be just as even more annoying than this cave. It's going to feature some more jumping and. Oh. Now we just chop the bananas off the tree, and we got a spring banana. It sure smells sweet. Alright, head to the south here. There's another cave. Go inside it. Yep. This is really annoying because this platform is really, really fast. And we got to get from the platform to that button there. And hitting that button will cause a ring to fall onto that green tile. I'm going to try to get rid of all the bats so they don't bother us while we're trying to get around here. Alright. Jump around. And once you get the ring, then we can just fall in the pit and leave. So I guess now you can turn it into winter if you want and get that fairy to heal up. But a lot of these plants are going to drop flowers, so So now we got Moosh again to help us. And with Moosh helping us, we can hover over pits. Alrighty. Let's head over to the west. Like I said, Mount Puko attaches to Mount Goron. Hop off Moosh here. Read the sign. No shields. No deflecting shield seeds allowed. Well, that means we're going to have to do exactly what that sign told us not to do. And this guy's going to spit seeds at us. I surrender. In return, I offer my advice. If you have a key, you still need a keyhole. Foolish brother, the keyhole is on the summit. So one of the plants is going to tell us where the keyhole is. The other is going to tell us where the key is. And we need Moosh to get the key. So as you can see, there's that one plant that we planted. It's almost mature. A few more enemies and it'll bear a seed. Remember in springtime, that flower blooms, and you can use it as like a trampoline to get up. So that's how we're going to get that heart container later on, that heart container piece. But first we're going to just use Moosh here to get the key. Because the key hole is going to be up there on the summit. So we're just going to save going up there. So here's a reason why, like I said, Moosh is one of the harder animal companions to use. Because you have to like press the A and fly and move with him. And if you mess up, well, when you fall down, you gotta restart again. And the game is really evil in a sense right here, because you think, okay, well, I just got the key here, I can fall in the pit, and I'll start back at the beginning again. No, if you mess up here, after getting the key, you start back where the key is. So, whew, you managed it. And now, like I said, we're back on Mount Goron. We kind of discovered a little bit of this earlier. But yeah, after this, Moosh will basically leave when you come back and see him again. But yeah, you basically just need Moosh to get that key, the dragon key. And here is that one area that we saw taking us to Mount Goron. I didn't bother picking up those rocks and throwing them away because I knew I'd be coming back here anyway. As you can see with Maple there, she has got an upgrade. She's no longer flying on a broom, she's flying on a vacuum cleaner. And basically that just makes her suck up items quicker. She gotta be faster to grab the items, but that's why sometimes I'll be using Pegasus seeds now to run around faster. And hey, look, we have a cave here real quick. Yeah, we could have explored this a little earlier, but there was no real reason to explore it earlier because, like I said, I knew I'd be coming back here anyway. But now we can see how all these areas connected. We got a few more enemies here to take out, some blobs that hop up. Sometimes they appear up the top here, but for this time they both spawn at the bottom here. Some more enemies for us. To the left here, this cave is basically empty. I think there'd be something interesting in that pot. There might be, I think, a secret, someone here for a secret later on in the game. Usually if you are playing a game for the first time, it's a non-linked game, and you find an empty area, usually in a linked game, there'll be somebody there in that empty space to provide a secret. And we'll see that when we actually get into the linked games. Yeah, after this game, after Data completes his quest here in Holodrum, he'll be able to do a linked game and go to Labrina and meet with the Oracle of Ages over there, which is what his brother Maverick is doing now. And then Maverick, on the same line, well, when he completes his thing over in Labrina, he'll be able to do a linked game and unlock new things over here in Holodrum. Speaking of unlocking things, it's nice of us to come all the way here just to see this little Goron. And so what he's going to do is he's going to give us a ring box. Ring box level 2. Ring box level, it now holds 3 rings. Ring box level 3, which you can only get in a linked game, holds 5. See, now we can have 3 rings, so we can alternate. And here's where we'll save our game. This we'll pick up in our next episode. Take care, have a good one. I'll see you then. Bye.